Hey everyone, and welcome back to Farm Girl in Progress. I am Nadine, and today I'm bringing you a video that I promised I would share with you. I am going to share with you the traditional Japanese method that I am using to seal and preserve my wood for my garden beds. It is called, I believe it's pronounced, Shou Sugi Ban, and it is the process of burning the wood, scraping all of the charcoal off, and then sealing it with oil. So let me show you some of the products that I'm using to do this process. Alrighty guys, so this is the oil that I'm using. It's 100% pure tung oil. There's a couple different reasons why I decided to go with tung oil versus a flaxseed oil or a polyurethane or something similar along those lines. I went with the tung oil because it's plant-based. It's derived from the seeds of the tung tree in Eastern Asia, which I thought was pretty cool. It's clear, quick drying, and it really penetrates the wood grain, so it enhances the protection of the wood. And then it's all natural, eco-friendly, non-toxic, and it's also food safe, which I thought was super important, seeing as I'm using this wood in my garden where I'm growing my food as organically as possible. So that is why I chose tung oil. And it's also really super easy to use. There's no special know-how to use it. You basically pour it on, you wipe it on with a rag or paintbrush, and then you let it dry. Super easy. The last time, or in the last video that I used the tung oil, I used a rag. In this video, I'm going to be using a paintbrush just to see which one or which method I like better, and then I'll let you guys know which I prefer. The rag did absorb a lot of the oil, so I feel like I wasted a good bit of oil, and it made it difficult to get the oil to spread because the rag kept wanting to absorb it. So I'm excited to see how the paintbrush is going to work in comparison to the rag. So the first thing that we need to do is to burn the wood, and I'm using a blowtorch that's hooked up to a propane tank. Some people will actually just throw the wood in a fire. However, I find that the blowtorch gives me a little bit more control over where the flame is, and how accessible the wood is for me. I don't want to have to reach into a major blazing fire to pull my wood out before it, disintegrates. So I'm using a blowtorch. So yeah, let me show you the burning process, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty guys, I got my wood all set out over here. I've got my blowtorch, got my lighter. Let's get to it. Alrighty, all of the wood is burned. You want to burn it black, and you'll see like all of the cracking in the wood. And then once they're cool to the touch, you're going to want to scrape them all down so that this black is gone. So once you're ready to scrape your wood off, you're going to want to use a wire brush like this. But you're not going to want to brush so hard that you reveal raw wood underneath. I'll show you once my wood is cool here. So we're going to wait a few minutes, and then I'll get back to you and I'll show you how to do the brushing of your burnt wood. Alrighty guys, so the wood is now cool enough for me to touch, although I am going to use gloves because I don't want to get super dirty. And you're going to want to take your wire brush and then brush with the grain of the wood. So see how the grain, these lines go up and down the wood. You're going to want to brush with the grain of the wood. So I'm going to take my wire brush and brush all the charcoal away so it looks like this. If I keep brushing, it'll brush all the way down to, I guess you could say, raw wood, and you don't want that. You want it to still have this brown charcoal burnt look to it. And then you'll just keep doing that on all of the sides and on each end as well. Guys, I'm back. I had to take a little break. I had to get my kids some dinner and settled in. I did finish scraping off all the charcoal off the wood, so I'm going to show that to you in a second here. You may want to wear a mask, just as a heads up, when you're brushing all the charcoal off. Otherwise, you're going to have it all in your nose and in your lungs, and you're going to be coughing for a while. So don't do what I did. Wear a mask when you're doing this. As you can tell, I'm a little... yeah. So anyway, once you get all of the charcoal off of your wood, you're going to want to seal it with an oil. As I explained earlier, I'm going to be using tung oil, and I'm just going to be applying it with a brush this time. So let me show you how I do that. Alrighty guys, so here's all of the wood now that the charcoal's off of it. See how it still has that brown burnt look to it? You want that when you're scraping all the charcoal off. So don't go back to its original color. Don't scrape it too much, but keep it where it's just the charcoal that's gone and you still have this brown on your wood. So now I'm just going to be using a little cheapy 2-inch brush and my tung oil, and let's go ahead and seal these up. So with this being wood, you are going to end up with knotty pieces like this, or even splits. You want to make sure when you're oiling knots and cracks that you really work the oil into that knot or crack. That way the inside of the knot or the crack is sealed good, just like the outside of the wood. You also want to do a nice, I wouldn't say an overly thick coat, but you do want to put a nice coat. Don't skimp on your oil. Alrighty guys, so these are all finished. They're all sealed and ready to go, so I'm just gonna let them dry. The reason they turned out black instead of clear is because of the charcoal dust that was still on them. If you're just wanting to use the tung oil to seal like a wood project that you're working on that isn't burnt, you're not going to have this black effect when you use it, just to let you know. But for the Shou Sugi Ban technique, you will have a little bit of this black effect from the charcoal dust that's left over. Alrighty guys, so that ends this video on how to do the Shou Sugi Ban technique to burn and seal your wood. I hope that this video is helpful to you. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them if I can, or at least point you in the direction of somebody who can. Thank you so much for watching today, and remember to grow where you're planted.